Hello, everyone. IMS welcomes you all to our webinar series, The B School Insider, all you need to know about your dream school. And I am your host, Kalyani Majumdar, for today's webinar. So this is our second episode of The B School Insider, and our topic is IIM Bangalore, Campus Life, Placements, Academics. So in this webinar, you'll get first-hand information on the personal journey of the three panelists, from their CAT experience to the selection process at IIM Bangalore, the academic schedule and faculty at the B School, the kind of placement process and how do you get selected by top firms. Also, you'll find out about internships and how the right internship can get you a great placement. And of course, we will have a fun rapid fire section about IIM Bangalore. So let's welcome our three speakers. We have an IIM Bangalore alumna, Shruti Prabhu. She is working as a consultant with Kearney. We have Mayur Arora. He's from the second year, IIM Bangalore. And we have K. Altaf from first year of IIM Bangalore. Thank you so much, all of you, and welcome to the B School Insider.
Thank you so much, Kalyani.
So let's start with the CAT experience. So you can just tell briefly about your CAT score and how many months did you prepare, and was there anything in particular that you did to get success? So you can take turns. Shruti, you can start, and then Mayur, and then Altaf.
Sure. So my CAT percentile was 98, not a great score, but then I think it's all dependent not just on your CAT score, but a lot of other parameters as well.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding my prep, I would say that it was somewhere from February to November, right? So around 10 months of prep because I was working. There's very little time, and over the weekends I used to do that.
Right.
And the major things that I focused throughout my preparation to ensure that I clear CAT was the IMS principles of, first focusing on accuracy for the first few months, and then shifting the focus to the speed, where you try and cover as much as possible, but then ensure that your accuracy levels remain consistent. I think that was a useful way which helped me clear CAT.
Yeah, great. Yeah, Mayur.
So I was in a very similar position like Shruti. I was also working, and I think 8 to 10 months of time is adequate enough to prepare.
Okay.
While CAT is the first hurdle in joining IMB, the next steps like GDPI and VAT are probably even more important.
Correct.
And I think about 2 months of preparation for those steps should be enough.
Okay. Altaf.
Similar to both of their positions, I was also working. So I started my preparation somewhere around March of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used to go for a weekend class because I was completely out of touch from all these concepts.
Mm-hmm.
March, and I took a lot of test series, and I figured out that quant and DILR were not a big problem coming from an engineering background.
Right.
So VARC was my Achilles heel. So I used to read newspapers for that. I did not practice RCs as such. So I used to read newspapers for that. That helped me in the VAT PA process as well.
Right.
Once you are very knowledgeable about whatever is happening around, that kind of reflects on your interviews as well. So that is one tip I would like to give the aspirants right now since they are preparing for VAT PI. Start reading newspaper if you haven't. Go through maybe a yearbook or something. Get a very good grip on whatever has happened in the past and whatever is the hot topic right now. And CAT 2019, I had a 99.73 percentile. I was working as well at that point of time.
Right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So can you tell us about something about the selection process, as in the personal interview and group discussion? What were the topics on which the questions were asked to have? So you could just share your personal experience of the personal interview as well as the...
Sure.
Yeah.
So there was no group discussion. There's a written test.
Right.
Before that, there's an SOP which we submit at the time of
Right.
application, which is very important, and it comes during the interview. And on the day of the interview, there are two processes. The first is writing an essay, and the topic for me was how do I improve the management education in India. So that is why we have to be very sure that it's not just about the current affairs, but there should be a perspective about anything that is asked to you, right? So that helped. And then the second part of the day was the actual, personal interview.
Right.
And there the questions were more related to the SOP method. So you have to be, and definitely you have to know about the current affairs, but you also should know about whatever you mentioned, whether it's your hobbies or whether it's your background. So it was more related to the essay, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, Mayur. Can you also talk a little bit about your personal interview, as in, the kind of questions or what exactly, how did you prepare it and all that, like that day, a little bit?
All right. So my personal interview revolved a lot around my SOP, which I had submitted. So IMB process is slightly different from other IIMs because they ask you to write about 700 words in an SOP. All right. And since I had sufficient about 3 years, so they asked me questions as to why do you think you are a good fit for an MBA? Why now? Why not wait for a couple of more years and do an executive MBA? What would I bring to the table if I am, being included in the batch? So
Right.
these kind of questions, alongside my work ex, my post IMB choices,
Okay.
career choices, these kind of questions were asked to me.
Okay. Yeah, Ataf.
As Mayur rightly pointed out, IMB's VAT PI process is kind of different from the other colleges. We don't have GDPI in the first place, and our interviews are mostly SOP oriented.
Okay.
And statement of purpose is something which you need to put a lot of thought into. Like that's a story of your life, what you have done and how you have decided to do an MBA, and then why do you want to do an MBA. So that must be a very thought out essay which you have to write, like take like 2-3 weeks off, get it reviewed from people, and then try to understand. Like it's more of an introspection rather than getting feedback from people. So that is one. And my topic for the VAT was e-commerce and how it affects the brick and mortar store. So they give you around 5 minutes to think and 10 minutes to pen down your thought. So that's pretty much it. And the interview is solely driven by your SOP. If you have a very good work experience and if you have ample amount, like I had 3 months of work experience, and it's not just like when you say work experience, it's not just about what you do. It's about what your company does, where your company stands, what your role is in that company. So you need to be aware of everything that's happening around. So IMB is a bit focused on work experience for that matter.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is about IMB.
So Altaf, you already spoke about that you come from an engineering background. Mayur, you've not told me which background are you from, and also Shruti, if you could also the subjects.
So Kalyani, I am a computer science engineering graduate and I have worked as software engineer for 3 years.
Okay. Shruti?
Yeah. I'm a chartered accountant and a company secretary,
Okay.
and I was working at the L&T in the finance and accounts team.
All right. Okay. So, what kind of profile building exercise the aspirants can begin now to have a higher chance of being selected by IIM Bangalore? Yeah.
Okay. Now I was saying profile builds over the years, and if I talk about at 21, it's just a few months down the line.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, the things that generally go into profile building are your academics, for which you cannot do anything much right now. It's just your past track record that will come handy. Apart from that, there is if you are either you're working or not, right? If you are actually currently working, then it's good to assume different types of roles and responsibilities, whether directly within the domain of what you're doing, or it could be some, there's some initiatives that every corporate takes up. So that is something which you can add to the skill set that you have and which you can speak about. So doing more at your workplace will definitely help in case you don't find time outside of work. But if you do find time outside of work and there is, enough time to develop your hobbies or do some extracurricular activities, whether it's sports or whether it's some NGO or some, like blogging, or are you a Quora writer? There can be any number of things that you do apart from work, right? So if you just try and develop that, for example, then, it will help you stand out from, any other aspirants.
How did you build your profile for?
Yeah. So as a hobby, I do poetry blogging. So
Okay.
that was one interesting thing that came up even in the interview, and they asked me to
Okay.
write an impromptu poem on the interview.
Okay.
So that is something which
Okay.
breaks the ice as well as it helps the panelists test you.
Right.
So, so these are things which you don't generally do, keeping profile building in mind, but then ultimately it helps you stand out. I
Right.
think people should do what they love and they try to, excel or, do it a little more than
Mm.
they would have generally done.
Yeah, Altaf?
Yeah. Shruti actually captured almost all the points. So basically, like my profile building, it happened over the years. Like since
Okay.
10th standard, whatever you do, the
Yeah.
most trivial things which you think don't matter,
Mm.
ultimately it matters in the end.
Okay.
So if you right now currently like since it's already 2021,
Mm.
if you are a working personnel, just try to take up more projects, try to get involved in more projects,
Mm.
try to build your skill, and then if you are like right now in college, try to develop more hobbies or look for virtual internships, try to collab with outside organizations and corporates and work on projects as such.
Mm.
And if you have some hobby, develop on it, try to like get into competitions,
Right.
and then show that you're actually interested in it. Like how it happened for my year was like when I was giving interviews, the problem was it was during COVID. So
Yeah.
most of the
Oh,
questions
yes.
that the interviewers asked were revolved around that. As in, like, what did you do during the COVID time? How did you utilize your time? So there were people who were interested in cooking. There were people who were interested in learning guitar. So that actually showed like how you utilize your time, how you manage your time, how you effectively come up with something and develop your skills.
How are you utilizing your lockdown time? What did
Um,
you tell them?
I was into fitness,
Okay.
so gym is something which I had, like carried forward for 1.5 years. So even though it was the gyms were closed, I came up with my own methods to work out at home, which the interviewers kind of liked at
Okay.
that point of time.
Mm.
So, and it happens over the years. And like when you're asked about how you have built your profile, just think about what you have done over the years and then come up with a very good, like, if you are asked, like, you can just tell me what you did in the
Mm.
past
Mm.
5 years. You have to
Yeah.
come up with a very good monologue and how you developed as a person from that.
Mm. Okay. So let's talk about now a little bit about academics. Like, okay, so you already talked about profile building as well as how did you guys get into IIM Bangalore. But now, how was the first day at IIM Bangalore like?
Okay, my first day at IIM Bangalore was waking up at 8:45, having my tea and logging into Zoom. So
Okay, yeah,
that was my first day at IIM Bangalore.
yeah.
But yeah, jokes apart, I came to campus on November 21st.
Okay,
I was actually welcomed by a caddy, like a car at IIM Bangalore, and I was taken to the quarantine facility. And
okay.
14 days, 14 days later, I came out of quarantine, and it felt very different. Like it was a great experience because it was like you have been cooped up inside your home, and then 2 weeks inside quarantine, you are not seeing people around, and then suddenly you come out and you see a lot of people. You see like canteen cafeterias, and it was very overwhelming. So
Like
I didn't
Castaway or something like that.
exactly. So it was very overwhelming. I did not sleep that night. I was just walking around.
Right.
So that was
Okay.
my first day at IIM Bangalore.
Okay. Yeah, Mayur, I think you've had a more exciting first day at IIM Bangalore. And I'm sure Shruti had an even better IIM Bangalore first day. And also, I think the entire 2 years, you actually had a proper campus life, isn't it? Yeah, so Mayur, you can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my experience was not as luxurious as Altaf's. Nobody was waiting for me except the admissions office.
Okay.
So, my first week here, I would talk about the first week rather than the
Yeah.
first day.
Okay.
It was all about different kind of inductions.
Mm.
You know, people were made acquainted with the campus. There were a lot of interaction with faculties
Okay.
and the kind of facilities we have, like library facilities,
Mm.
all kind of services which are offered in IMB were discussed and told to students. And I think that was all about it. From second week, we had our regular classes.
Tell us about your daily routine, as in how is the time divided between study and having fun activities at IIM Bangalore?
All right, so I'll take this question.
Yeah.
Your first two terms in IMB are very, hectic. So
Mm-hmm.
the classes are only for 4 days a week, which is refreshing. But then the other 3 days are usually spent in, studying for quizzes, exams, participating in a lot of events, having fun with friends, roaming around in campus as well as outside city. I'm talking about the pre-COVID times wherein you could of course go out of campus, but now
Right.
I think things have changed.
Mm.
So the first 2 years are pretty hectic. First two terms are pretty hectic, but then I think you become used to it.
Mhm.
You start enjoying it. And after I think 15 or 20 days, you start actually liking it. And I think that's the part which excited me the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like right now I'm in my
Yeah.
third term.
Yeah.
So as Mayur told, first two terms are very, very, very hectic.
Right.
So it's not like how you saw in your undergrad or something. Like
Mhm.
first term, you devote most of your time to your resume preparation because summer's preparation is a very, very vital, important
Okay.
part of your career as such. It's so that time you won't get much time to study, but you somehow have to manage with your assignments, submissions, quizzes, midterms, end terms, and then study for that, and at the same time prepare your resume. Once you
Okay.
prepare your resume, you have to get all your points verified from whoever is responsible for that. So it's a very tedious process. And the second term goes in the summer placement
Mm.
preparation process. So
Mhm.
people who want consulting will have to prepare with cases. People who want broadman role will have to
Okay.
prepare like that. So
Okay.
first two terms you don't get much time to study, but still you have to manage with whatever you have. So
Okay.
that's how the whole management aspect comes into play. Then
Okay.
third term is pretty much chill, but still like filled with submissions.
So, Mayur, do you think the first year is more stressful than the second year? Is it? I mean, if you can kind of, answer it.
Well, I believe while in your second year, you become more used to it. You become habitual. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
While most of us were working before coming to IMB,
Hmm.
things were very different. But now, when you reach campus and then you start sleeping late
Hmm.
at night, wake up early in the mornings as compared to your office days.
Right.
So, I think that does make a difference. And it's not about second year being easy, it's about second year is more customizable.
Okay.
So, IMB has a policy wherein you can choose any kind of subjects in your second year. You are free to, define your own timetable.
Hmm. Hmm.
There are no mandatory subjects in second year.
Hmm.
I think a lot of us, made our timetables flexible enough as per our needs. So let's say if somebody is unable to wake up before 2 p.m.,
Right.
so you can
Hmm.
definitely take all the classes in the afternoon and finish your credits.
Correct.
Altaf, I think, does not have this freedom as of now. So he
Okay.
does have to wake up at 9 in the morning. Right, Altaf?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right.
Okay.
Absolutely agreed with Mayur. That's what actually makes it, easier. Nice to do the same thing,
Okay.
take courses as per my convenience. And even the difficulty level of courses, in the
Uh,
first year, since I am from a chartered accountancy
hmm.
background,
Hmm.
the subjects that in the first year, which are more engineering focused, like decision sciences and all, was
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
tough for me.
Okay.
So that increased the stress levels. But
Right.
in the second year, when I know which kind of the subjects is comfortable, or what I want to learn, actually,
Hmm.
that is what is reduce the stress levels, though the time management aspect remains the same.
Okay. But how did you guys get adjusted to the new environment? Did you face any particular problem at the campus when you just joined?
So, Kalyani, I believe a lot of seniors were very helpful enough to, help me, make a sudden shift from coming from,
Hmm.
a working professional background and then
Hmm.
move into an IIM kind of stressful environment. So I think that transition did take about 15, 20 days for me, but then I think it was okay. I mean, the seniors were helpful, the professors were very understanding, they were very cooperative.
Hmm.
You have counseling services also available in case if you want to go and talk to them. So
Right.
I think all these things make your transition very smooth.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about the foreign exchange program at IIM Bangalore. It's pretty much something that a lot of people outside IIM Bangalore also talks about. Mayur or Shruti, you guys can maybe pitch in for this one.
Okay, I can take it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, exactly a foreign exchange program. So there are two types of programs that happen. The actual common balance foreign exchange is the one where people go out for 3 months, like entire one full term they spend in some university abroad.
Okay.
And IIM Bangalore is known for it because of the number of people that go abroad as compared to any other campus in India.
Okay.
And similarly, I mean, in their place, there are people coming from those countries back here in our
Hmm.
college. So then that also gives perspective, and you form groups with them, and the people who couldn't go, but they are still collaborating with international students.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that is one. In my personal experience, I didn't go to this foreign exchange program. Rather, I went to Japan, which
Oh.
was a
Hmm. Okay.
it is a course wherein, for 3 weeks you spend outside of India. There were some 3 to 4 countries. It could be Dubai, it could be Vietnam, it could be Japan, of your choice. I chose Japan. And the task that was, it's called business planning in international markets. So before you go to that country, you have to have a business plan in mind. You have to present to the professors. You need to form a group, and then you say what is your business idea that you want to float in that country. And when you go there, you collect actual evidences, through talking to people. You need primary research or whatever that you learn there, right? About the social conditions, about what will work. Earlier, what had we planned, and now looking at the country, looking at the people, their opinions, what will now work and what changes need to be done. That you come back to the campus, and then you continue the rest of the course, and then you present your findings, and then refine your business plan. So that was a very interesting experience. I would say.
Talk about summer internship. How was your summer internship, Mayur?
Okay, so Kalyani, my internship was with an international bank in their, derivative structuring department. I think my experience was fairly good. Even though I could not, go to the physical office, I had to, work from home due to this pandemic situation. But the experience was, really helpful. And IMB is one college. I mean, I believe it's the only college which, allows you to take elective subjects in your term 3. Even before you go for your internships, you can take a couple of subjects so that you can, be better prepared for your internships. So I took a few subjects, finance related subjects, and those had helped me a lot. And I definitely had, some sort of competitive advantage over people coming from, let's say, IMA, IMC, or IIM Lucknow.
Correct.
Regarding the internship, right? So I did it with Kearney, where I'm currently working. And internships are very important in two ways, right? One is it helps you judge whether the company is good for you, whether the consulting as a sector, which is of so much hype, is it? Does it live up to the expectations? Are you suitable for it? So that is what the internship taught me, right? From traveling across different cities in that 2 month span. Working for long hours and the kind of projects that we were doing. So that was very interesting in consulting. And second is the PPO that I got at the end of it, because maybe the firm also got an opportunity to judge my performance. And then I got a pre-placement offer, and that is what helps you reduce the stress levels throughout second year as well, if you already know where you're going to get placed. So you can just focus on your academics in the second year. I think from that perspective, internship is very important.
So are you saying that, so that means getting a good placement offer often depends on the kind of internship you had?
To some extent, not really. There are people who, if they don't like the internship, they choose a different sector. So it does not apply to them. But for people who like the sector, who want to remain in that, if they get a PPO, well and good. If not, they can, try for other companies within the same sector, and that company will consider that, this person is already acquainted to the work life or the kind of work that we do. So it will have, to some extent, I think it impacts, when a person judges or looks at your profile, it has some role to play, definitely. Is my opinion.
Okay. What is the internship selection process? Mayur, you can take it, and Altaf, you can, if you want to pitch in.
So companies, this process is common across all B schools in India. Companies do come to campus and give a very intimidating presentation. And then you have to submit your resumes in case you wish to apply for those. Then they have a short list. They select a few students they wish to interview or screen. And then different companies have different processes. Like some companies conduct GDs, some companies prefer written tests, but then interview is one aspect which is common for most companies. So that is the usual flow of
How
events.
do you prepare for it? Do you have to prepare for it in a particular way? I mean, how do you prepare?
So I can talk about my experience, wherein my past work ex was in software engineering, but then I interned at a bank. So my preparation was a bit different from, let's say, somebody who had commerce background like Shruti. So I had discussed with a lot of seniors. They did help me with resources, online resources, books, and I think that did play a very big role in me bagging an offer from them. So that's how it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So summer internship process, the first few steps is exactly like how Mayur mentioned, but the rest of it comes different. After the shortlisting, it's a bit different for different sectors. Mayur went into the banking sector. I went into the consulting sector.
Okay.
So there, the process is entirely different, and your preparation, like if your interview is scheduled on December 7th, you have to start preparing at least 40 days in advance, where you start preparing for cases. Case preparation, right now, if I explain it, like most of you won't understand.
Okay.
So that has to start way before, and you have to talk to your seniors, you have to talk to your peers, and once you get shortlisted, you will get assigned buddies at the respective companies. You have to prepare with them, so that's a 40-50 day process. And once you get used to it, then you go to the interview. Then interview is basically like your whole preparation for 40-50 days kind of reflects on the interview as well. So ultimate step is mostly interviews, but some firms also have GDs, but consulting firms don't have GDs, especially marketing and general management profile. They have GD process.
Okay. Okay. Shruti, can you talk about the placement process at IMB, as in, and also your personal experience of the placement process till your job at Kearney? Just briefly.
I think
Yeah.
Shubhanu already covered about how the process
Hmm.
is like, but actually, detailing it out, it's like during the duration of the process, right? It starts
Hmm.
with a bank day where all the finance companies, right, all the major
Hmm.
banks, they come and interact with their shortlisted candidates
Yeah.
through a placement talk.
Hmm.
And after that, there's the first day of your placements, right? That is generally for those for the major consulting companies who don't have a group discussion process, right? They just have interviews and they roll out an offer. And
Okay.
any student who the norms keep changing a little bit, but overall, if I say there are dream applications therein where
Yeah.
if you get an offer from one company, you can still hold that offer, and then in the subsequent slots or subsequent days, if you want to apply for any one particular company, you can. This was as per the old rules I'm saying, and then there could be changes in the future. And
Okay.
after this day, that there is a group discussion. One entire day has been reserved. 1 or 2 days would be only group discussions where there are no interviews. You just
Hmm.
wherever you're shortlisted, you just give group discussions one
Okay.
after the other.
Okay.
And the next day, it's only for the interview. So after the group discussion, there will be another shortlist, refined one that will come up. And if you're shortlisted, then you will give the personal interviews for those on the next day.
Okay.
So that is how the
Hmm.
placement process is structured overall, mostly
Okay.
basis the sector in which the company belongs to.
So, what were the kind of questions that were asked to you for? Because obviously, it's a consulting
Yeah.
firm again. Yeah.
So in consulting, what do you call it? Two interviews, right? The first level was by a manager, right, where he actually solves cases with you. There's a problem statement given to you, and yeah, as Altaf
Okay.
mentioned, it's difficult to tell what actually a case prep
Hmm.
is, and I think there's enough time for students once they get into the campus to understand how to solve
Okay.
cases. And the word cases is a little, yeah, it's a little new
Yeah.
to them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I would say the first interview is that, and if you clear that well, then the second interview would be a partner level where they'll judge the cultural fit and they'll ask you questions more about your resume, about what you have done, about yourself. Yeah, so I had just two interviews and that was it. That's
Okay.
how a typical consulting interview is like.
Can someone elaborate on shortlisting process for MBB? A bit apprehensive seeing national Olympiad winners, etc. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So obviously MBB, they're definitely there as top recruiters at IIM Bangalore.
I think that's very difficult to predict. But yeah, I would say it's a mix actually. When you look at the shortlist, there are people who uh, they do some national level or some spike is what is the general common word that is being used. Though on the other aspects they may not be very great in terms of profile, but if there's some spike which is of interest to them, they do get shortlisted. So I don't think we can actually predict and tick all boxes and say that I have done this, so now I should get a
Correct.
shortlist.
Correct.
I don't think that it works like that.
Mhm. Okay, so now we will have a preview of how life is at IIM Bangalore campus. And Mayur, if you can just share your photos.
This is, the first place you reach when you register and come inside the campus. Okay. So
Okay.
this is the entry gate to hostels. So this is,
So when you
the
say
entry
hostel,
to the
this is a
hostels.
hostel blog. So is it where's the old one and the new one? Yeah.
Yes, I'll show you the old ones and the new ones
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how an old block looks like. This
Okay.
is the view from my room's gate.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and this is where that guy played that Sari Umr Hum Mar Mar Ke Ji Liye
exactly.
in the Three Idiots. That seat right there.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Then you have
Yeah.
these are the new blocks, the more luxurious ones where
Oh,
Altaf lives.
okay. I
Where
thought
I
you live in.
spent 2 years.
Yes.
Okay.
So
We
these
have
are the
much
hostels.
spacious rooms
These are
there.
the hostels in great demand because they have, very good campus of that Pani Ki Tanki on which Ryan Cho had fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'll, I'll show you that as well.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. Yeah.
So this is that,
Hmm.
water tank.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is the one.
Yes. This is
Yeah.
where a lot
Out
of
of
people
bounds.
had fun in that movie.
So, are
Yeah.
you guys allowed to climb this now?
No, no.
Altaf?
At least on the stairs.
Altaf is just
Unfortunately,
nodding.
unfortunately, we are not supposed to climb to the
Okay.
top. But like what we do is we go till the stairs and click
Stairs.
photos and then post
Yeah.
it on
Oh.
Instagram saying, "Oh, we have been here." That's what we do.
Okay. But Shruti, was it allowed or is it just now
No, no,
or
it
is
was
it
out
just
of bounds. It's
oh,
It
always out
it
of bounds. Yeah.
it got out of bounds only after the movie.
okay. Okay, yeah, next one.
This is the place wherein, the movie character took off his pants to say Jahapana to
Oh,
cigarette
right,
ho.
yeah, okay.
Yes, this is where it all happened.
Okay, yeah, this is where. Where is this?
Okay, so this is the least visited place in campus. We call it library. Okay.
The building is least visited library, but the lawn is the open
Oh,
air
yeah?
theater, so that
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
more visited.
Okay.
So this is the lawn which is right in front of, the library, and a lot of
Okay.
people spend time with their loved ones here.
Is it?
Altaf, have a good look. You have not been to this place.
Soon, very
It looks
soon.
like some case competition where the judges are sitting and someone is
Yeah,
Okay.
presenting.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess Shruti has been to all these spaces and she has actually probably enjoyed each and every space without all this pandemic and everything.
True,
Okay,
true.
yeah,
It's
next.
making me so nostalgic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, next. Okay. Yeah, next.
This picture is from Diwali celebration. A
Oh,
student
okay.
from our batch, helped,
Very
to
nice.
draw this.
Okay. Very nice.
And then you have cultural performances. This is Euphoria band performing live in
Okay.
campus. This is back when I was in first year.
Okay. Yeah, Altaf,
The stage
look
of
at
that
this.
open air theater.
Yeah.
I'm just telling Altaf, like, he is.
Have a good look. Have a good look,
Have a good
Altaf.
look. This is all you're going to get.
Next year.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of fests in campus. Exemes is one of the largest, which,
Okay.
has about 10,000 plus footfall from all parts of
Nice.
the country.
Oh, nice.
This is the most visited eatery in campus.
If
And a
you're
lot
bored
of
of the mess food and you want something Italian.
Shruti, I believe not a lot of people go there for food, but for meat cutes, I heard.
Oh yeah, so okay, people who are aspiring for IIM Bangalore, this is your meet cute spot.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is a Nukkar Natak in progress.
Right.
This was again from last year.
Okay.
This year we did not had any such performance due to COVID.
Right.
Then these are regional
Yeah.
dinners.
Oh,
IMB hosts about 15 community dinners. Like you have
okay.
an Andhra dinner, you have an Uttar Pradesh dinner, you have a
Okay.
Northeast dinner. So
Mm.
this, I believe, is from Kerala dinner. This is the
Yeah.
local train band performing live in campus. This is the main building. All the classrooms are
Hmm.
on both the sides. This is the main way wherein you can walk and chill.
Hmm.
This is campus during rainy season. It looks really green.
Okay. Yeah.
And then this is one place wherein you can, have a cup of tea, sit with friends, relax, and, discuss problems in life and seek solutions from not just your friends and seniors, but from professors as well. So that is one place wherein, I have got a lot of life advices from professors.
There's a new discussion rooms, NDR, that is what we call there for
Yeah,
project
yeah.
meetups and all. If you do a night out, this is where you sit and have your morning tea.
These are second year classrooms, a bit, better, a bit new equipped. And then these are hostel blocks. This is spring and hostels.
Nice.
So a lot of parties are conducted at this place.
Okay.
So I
Great.
think that's all I had to share.
Great. Yeah. After that lovely campus preview, so there's a rapid fire section. We'll be asking some questions. You guys can answer either in one words or max in one sentence. And please be absolutely honest about your answers. Yeah. So let's start. You can always take like Shruti, Mayur, Altaf. Okay. Yeah. So that would be the thing. Yeah. Academic rigor doesn't leave any time for fitness activity. True or false? I even know the answer.
False. Hit the sports complex.
Yeah, Mayur?
I think, yes, you can take a lot of sports. There is a very good gym in campus.
Hmm.
So I think it does give you a lot of flexibility. IMB gives you a lot of flexibility.
Altaf?
A big
False.
false. A
Okay.
big false.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. This is water tank shown in the movie Three Idiots is the place to hang out with friends. True or false?
False. A lot of other places like elsewhere, Hanina's, you can hang
Okay.
out.
Okay. Mayur, true or false?
There are a lot of better places, I would say, which are not completely out of bounds.
Okay.
So false.
Hmm.
Again, false.
Okay. Hostel party hopping is more fun than pub hopping in the city.
Definitely true. Go to any number of hostel parties, everything happening parallelly. Best thing to do.
Yeah. So
Definitely, definitely.
what? Hostel party hopping is better, more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Altaf,
Yeah,
you
that's actually
to
true.
answer.
Yes, yes, I can. I can. We already have.
Yeah.
I'm not
Alright.
an alien.
One
I've
good
had
thing.
that. Yeah, it's actually fun. That's true.
Okay. Did you guys pray for a new hostel block or the old one?
New hostel all the time.
Okay.
There's always a rivalry between new hostel versus old hostel.
So what is it? So the old hostel, how is that? I mean, it has a nice
Stone wall, it has the stone wall ambience, but it's smaller. Yeah, and
Okay.
then but then if you go to the new hostel, it's bigger, it's more spacious. You have your own balcony. The setup is a little different, and
Correct.
it's farther also. New block, old blocks, people wake up at 9:58 for a 10 a.m. class, but
Okay.
new blocks cannot do that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Mayur, do you prefer the new block or the old block?
So I have spent 1 year in each of those, and I believe both of them have positives and negatives attached to those. But I really enjoyed my time and privacy in the new blocks and the fun in old blocks.
Okay. Altaf?
Yeah, new block. I just wanted a balcony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. IIM Bangalore means sleepless nights in first year. True or false?
True, many sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Oh, even in second year, I have not slept till now.
Okay. IIM Bangalore is known only for consulting. True or false?
No, false. It's a balance.
A good balance, a good balance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's false. That's false.
Okay. How is the nightlife at IIM Bangalore? I did ask this question also to IIM Ahmedabad. So, yeah, nightlife at IIM Bangalore, great or non-existent? Tell us about the after dark party scene.
Great, great. So we already spoke about hostel parties,
Yeah.
but my nightlife is generally campus strolls after dinner, which is what I relish. So that's a different kind of nightlife.
Mayur?
If you are a party animal, I would say try only for IIM Bangalore.
Great. That's a perfect, very helpful answer. Another thing to motivate the aspirants. Okay, Altaf, anything?
And yeah, some things are not meant to be spoken in public, so let's keep it.
Okay. Some nice places in the campus and why? Your favorite. Like, okay, pick your favorite space in the campus. Shruti. One.
Hanina's store. Yeah,
Okay.
just to hang out, eat, meet
Okay.
people.
Mayur.
So my go-to place was night canteen with friends.
Hmm.
So we used to complete a lot of assignments sitting inside the night canteen. So
Okay.
that's for me.
Altaf?
Sports ground, undoubtedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is your guilty pleasure in the campus?
See.
Shruti.
I think is spending time in the open air theater, all night gazing at the stars, and then someday or the other the guards find out, and they don't let you stay up there late.
Okay.
If you make noise, especially.
Mayur?
A cup of tea which is available 24 by 7 in campus at some eatery or the other.
Okay. Altaf?
Guilty pleasure, sleeping during online classes.
Okay. Shruti, what is your favorite memory on campus? One.
I think I was part of the placement committee, so when the entire batch gets placed, there's a big cheer, and you raise a
Okay.
toast,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest. It gives you goosebumps. So that feeling I can never forget.
Hey, Mayur, you would like to answer this one? Is there a peer pressure at IMB? And if there is something like that, then how do you handle that?
So Kalyani, when you sit with the brightest minds in the country,
Yeah.
you are bound to, get strained.
Hmm.
Plus, when you sit in classes without, preparing much, the professors can probably screw you a bit more. So I think that was one part which I felt, even though it's not really peer pressure, but then there is pressure for sure.
Okay. Okay. So I would really like to thank all of your attendees and thank you, Shruti Prabhu, Mayur Arora, and K. Altaf for being here, taking out time for this particular episode. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Mayur.
Thank you.